how to create a simple one-point perspective drawing of a room. First, you take a square piece of paper and you're going to fold it to make a triangle. And it's going to look like this when it's done. Okay, simple triangle. Then you're going to fold it to make a second triangle, like so. And then you're going to take this point and you're going to fold it to the opposite end, like that. It's going to look like this. When you open it up, you're going to see the fold lines form a very simple one-point perspective room. These are the walls, this is the floor, and that's the vanishing point. I'm going to use a ruler to put in the floor, walls, ceiling, and a vanishing point. Once you've done that, you're going to try and make the door. The top of the door goes to the vanishing point. So you put the ruler against the vanishing point and you're going to make the door right here on the side wall. So that's the top of the door. It goes to the vanishing point. The sides of the door have to be vertical. So what you do is you take your ruler and you're going to put it flush with the bottom of the paper. That means it's not crooked. It lines up, the end lines up with the bottom of the paper. And then you can make your vertical lines for your door, like so. Okay. That's how it's supposed to look. Now, on the other side here, I'm going to make a window. So the top of the window goes to the vanishing point. That means that this part of the ruler is on the vanishing point. The bottom of the window also angles towards the vanishing point. So I line my ruler up and I make the bottom of my window. You can see the lines get closer to each other as they get farther away. Now most kids mess up because they just try and connect these lines. You don't want to do that because they need to be vertical. So you can take your ruler and you're going to make sure that it is flush with the top of the page. That means that it goes straight up and down, it's not crooked. And you're going to connect the two lines that way. If one of them is too long or too short, you can always change the length. Better to do that than to change the angle of the line and then it's not vertical. For instance, you know this line's too long, so you don't simply connect them. You take your ruler, make sure it's flush with the top of the paper, and you connect the lines, and then you're going to erase this extra. And that's how you make a basic window. To make the panes in the window, and first to do that I need to find the middle of the window. So very lightly I'm going to draw an X from corner to corner. This X will be erased later. It's merely there to show you where the center of the window is. Where the two lines cross, that's the center of the window. So once I've drawn that X, I'm going to make a line going to the vanishing point for one of the window panes. I line it up with the vanishing point. I line it up with the X. And then I draw my line. Okay, and then this line has to be vertical, which means it's got to be flush with the top of the paper, and it has to go through that center of the window as well. So I'm very carefully lining my ruler up so it's straight up and down, flush with the top of the paper, and then I'm making my vertical line. And that is how I make my window, and the next step is to just erase that X, which should have been very lightly drawn in anyway. Okay, you got a door, you got a window. The next step is how to make furniture. So what I would like to do is I'm going to make a bed or a dresser or a table right here. The rules for all those things are the same. I need to make a box that goes off in 3 dimensions and sits on the floor. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some horizontal lines for the front and the back of the box. In order to make sure my lines are horizontal, I line my ruler up so it's flush with the edge of the paper, And I want my box to sit on the floor, so make sure that your horizontal line is sitting on the floor and not up on the wall. There's my first line. That's the front of my bed, or the front of my table. And now the sides of the bed or table are going to go to the vanishing point. So I make, let's see, I don't want it right up against the wall. I want to give it a little bit of space. Okay. All right, so let's see. This line goes to the vanishing point, goes back. I'm not going to make it all the way to the vanishing point. I'm just going to angle it towards the vanishing point. And then this line also goes to the vanishing point. Okay. All right, now do not just connect these lines. If you do, they'll be crooked. They have to be horizontal, so you again make sure your ruler is flush with the edge of the paper. One of the lines is too long, you can always erase. All right, now I've got my horizontal line. Now this could be the top of a bed, it could be the top of a table, it could be the top of any sort of box-shaped thing. It could be the top of a dresser, anything. So now to make the sides, again, this line has to be flush with the bottom of the paper, so it's vertical. It's going to go straight up and down from each corner of the box. Okay? Straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down. You're starting to see a three-dimensional form here. Very good. Now, I need to make a horizontal line to connect them. Do not just simply connect them. If you do, they'll be crooked because one's too long. So I'm going to make this line flush with the side of the paper. And I can always erase the extra later. I'm going to connect the two lines. Notice how carefully I line up my ruler so it's flush. Okay? And this line goes to the vanishing point. So I take my ruler, I put it on the vanishing point, and I go from the corner of this box to the vanishing point. As you can see, this line is too long, and that's okay. I can always erase the extra. So there's my line going to the vanishing point, and now this can be, I think I will make it a couch. Okay, so in order to make it a couch, I have to draw the back of the couch. Let me do that. Okay, I got to draw the arms of the couch. Let me do that. Okay. I'm just basically using my imagination here, how I think a couch should look. Let me make it a little bit more puffy. And there's my couch. Okay, I could have just as easily turned it into a bed by adding a pillow and blankets, or a table by adding longer legs. But that is how you would make a window, a door, and a piece of furniture. I now think that in the middle here I'm going to make a rug and a table, just to give you guys more practice making furniture. So again, the sides of the table are going to be going to the vanishing point. The front and back of the table need to be horizontal, so I make my ruler flush with the side of the page. Notice how careful I am to make it line up with the side of the paper, and then I connect my lines. And if one of them is too long, I can always erase the extra. Now that could be a rug. If it's a rug, it's done. If it's a table, I need to make a vertical line coming out of each corner. So again, flush with the bottom of the paper, make sure your ruler's not crooked. And I make my lines going straight down, and that gives me the table. Okay? And you don't really see the back legs of the table, they're hidden. But I can make the table a little bit more interesting. All right, so there's my little coffee table. There's my couch. If I want to make the door open, I just make this line going horizontal, and I make this line going vertical, and that will create the illusion that the door is open and somebody could walk through it at any time. And there is my one-point perspective room with a window, door, and furniture.